another episode of The Sad Story Behind. Like a good animated series. The Masha and the Bear we know was inspired by a book, but the inspiration behind this book turns out to be very disturbing for many. But to understand this terrible story, we have to compare the three versions that exist of Masha and the Bear. And little by little you will realize how tragic it is becoming. In the Masha and the Bear series, they show us a 4-year-old girl who is alone having fun in a Russian forest. This is suggested to us by the different Russian letters that appear on various objects in the series. Masha is a very energetic girl and boy. She can be somewhat annoying, who with her mere presence scares away all the animals that are near the area. Where is everyone? After snooping around the forest for a while, she comes across a cabin, which apparently belongs to a forest ranger. She goes in and, like any energetic girl, starts snooping around every last corner. Meanwhile, in the distance, we can see a bear approaching. This bear, in fact, is a retired bear that worked for many years in a circus. The little bear was looking for food when he realized that this girl was inside his cabin. Apparently, the bear is also a little scared of Masha, but he does everything he can to try to get her out of his house and leave him alone. But somehow or another, Masha keeps coming back until the bear gives up. Eventually, Masha and the bear become friends and continue to get together for various adventures in the forest. Sounds like a very simple and family-friendly story, right? Well, wait until you hear the tale that inspired this series. In the Russian tale of Masha and the Bear, Masha was a little girl who lives in a small town in Russia. She lives with her 2 grandparents, and every day she goes to the forest with her friends to collect raspberries and mushrooms for food. One day she asked her grandfather for permission to let her go with her friends to play in the forest. But her grandfather warned her to be careful with the fearsome bear that lived in the forest. He clearly told her that no matter what happened, she should never separate from her friends. Masha told him that she would be very cautious about that and not to worry. She went straight with her friends to the forest, but after a while of playing, Masha got distracted and lost track of the group. She spent a good while shouting for her friends to be able to find them. But after a few minutes, she came across a cabin. It looked like a normal person's cabin, so she decided to go look for help. She entered the cabin, but no one was inside. And just moments after Masha entered, the fearsome forest bear also entered. Masha was completely scared and asked him to please let her go. The fearsome bear, angry, told Masha that she couldn't leave, that she had now become his hostage. And that from now on, every day she had to go in search of food for the bear. If she didn't, the bear was gonna kill her. And so the days went by for Masha. Every morning, she went in search of food for the bear, cleaned and tidied his cabin. Several times, Masha asked the bear to please let her go, but the bear always told her no and reminded her of what would happen if she didn't obey him. One day, Masha had the great idea to make several strawberry pies. When the bear arrived, he asked her what the heck she was doing. Masha told him that she had to take those pies to her family, and as soon as she delivered them, she would immediately return to the bear's cabin. The bear, of course, told her no, that he himself was going to deliver those pies to the village. Masha agreed, but told him that she was going to climb the tallest tree to make sure that the bear did not open the basket full of pies. Moments later, the bear left the cabin to make sure the weather was good and that he could go deliver those pies. While the bear was outside, Masha got into the basket and the bear came back and carried the basket with all the pies to go deliver them. After a while of walking, the bear got tired. He sat down next to a tree and thought it would be a good idea to open the basket and eat one of those pies. But by pure luck, Masha's voice echoed in the bear's mind. He was sure that Masha was watching him from the tallest tree, so he didn't open the basket and continued walking. A few meters from reaching the village, several dogs began to chase the bear. Masha's grandfather heard the dogs and approached the forest. In this chase, Masha, luckily, escaped from the basket and immediately ran to her grandfather. The bear in this version of Masha and the bear may have been very evil, threatening Masha's own life. But despite everything, he kept the promise he made. And in fact, this story was created to warn all children about how dangerous bears can be. Since in Russia, bears are more common than in almost all parts of the world. But especially, this story was created because of the terrible Russian case of the real Masha. So, if you're ready to never see Masha and the bear the same way again, prepare to learn the real story. And before we continue, don't forget to comment if you're enjoying the video and share it if you'd like to see more. The real story of Masha and the bear happened in the year of 1820. Here too, Masha lived in a small village in Russia, but the tragedy begins when the circus comes to the small village. Masha was fascinated with bears, and she was very eager to go see the bear show at the circus. She asked her parents to take her and they agreed. During the entire circus performance, they didn't present any bears. Masha was completely sad about this. She more than anything wanted to go see the bears. So, while her parents were distracted, she sneaked off to where the caged animals were. And right there, she saw a bear locked up. Masha thought this bear was simply like a pet or a stuffed animal. Remember that Masha was a little 4-year-old girl, so she found the key and opened the bear's cage. The circus workers heard the noises the bear was making and a little girl screaming. They immediately went with their tools to calm the wild animals of the circus, but soon realized that the bear had already torn Masha apart. This story quickly became popular among people. It was told in various parts of the world, but it became very popular in Russia. It was because of this story that the tale was created, and from there the series of Masha and the bear was created. But do you remember that I told you that the bear's cabin in the series has a big hidden secret? The thing is that inside the cabin, the bear has several awards and trophies which he won at the circus. This confirms to us 100% that the Masha and the Bear series is inspired as much by the true story as by the disturbing book.